Hello, beautiful homemakers. Today I wanted to go over some bewitchingly fun cleaning games that I created when I was a child, and perhaps it will help you clean up your home or help your child clean up her room. How many times did we hear, "Clean your room, young lady"? When I was a child, my grandma came to visit one time when I had a very messy room. I was about 8 years old, and at the end of the day, my mom told me to clean it up. Who, me? All by myself? I was discouraged, not knowing where to even start. Now, usually my room wasn't too bad, but this time it was really out of control. My grandma popped her head in and gave me encouragement. She told me to start by picking everything up off the floor and putting it on my bed, which was made. That way, she told me, I couldn't go to bed until the room was ship-shape. Then I was to start nearest the door with my dresser and put everything that was lying on top where it belonged. Next, I was to move counterclockwise to my shelves, then my desk, and finally my closet. Once these surfaces were clear and tidy, I was to put away the items that were on my bed. It only took being shown how to do this once, and it became a habit to clean my room in a circle. I clean my house in a circle today. But her last bit of advice was something I've never heard anyone else mention before. She told me to grab a hand mirror and then stand on my desk chair. I was to survey my room by looking at it in my mirror. What jumped out at me that wasn't right? What else needed to be put away? What needed to be tidied? What looked out of place? What was crooked? She explained that we see things differently when we are at a different height, and we see our room with new eyes when we peer into the mirror. I still occasionally stand on a chair and use a mirror today because it works like magic. I also remember pretending to be Samantha from Bewitched while cleaning up my room. Speed up and clean as quickly as you can. The white glove test. Do you remember when Mrs. Stevens would come over to Samantha and Darren's house and do the white glove test on the banister and furniture as soon as Samantha left the room? Pretend that your best frenemy is coming over. She's just called, and you have 20 minutes to get it done. Ready, set, go! Be a realtor. If your house was going to be shown, what would you change? Take a clipboard and note down everything that needs to be done, room by room, from items that need to be picked up to walls that need to be painted. This is the beginning of your home beautifying plan, which we may talk about later. Did you know that there's a real Bewitched House in Santa Monica, but in reverse? It was built in 1947, and I recently found another Bewitched House. Picture perfect. Another trick I have learned is to take pictures. Beginning at your front door, take pictures of everything. Pictures will help us see problem areas with new eyes. What would you want to crop out of the picture? For me, most of the mess in my house is book piles for homeschooling, and my reading, and paper piles on the kitchen table and on my desk. I'm so used to seeing it, however, it's become like wallpaper to me. I don't really see it. Cobwebs will also show up in pictures I've noticed. I don't see them until I take a picture, and then presto, there they are. Clean it up, and then take after pictures for motivation to keep it clean. Best friends. I used to have a neighbor that lived across the street whom I absolutely loved. We had similar tastes and got along really well. When our friendship was fairly new, we both had a swarm of bees invade our backyards, and she called a beekeeper. And then she came over with her husband to watch the guy at work. Only problem? My kitchen was a disaster area. It must have been a Monday morning because on weekends everything would get backed up and I'd always stay home on Mondays to specifically clean the house, and I was so embarrassed. But she just laughed and told me she was the same way. She never does dishes after dinner. She always waits until after breakfast. Well, at least before we started FlyLady together. A few weeks later, we needed eggs, and we couldn't get to the store for some reason, so I called her and asked to borrow a few. I went over, and her kitchen was a mess. We both just laughed. Shortly thereafter, one of us called the other on a Friday morning and said, "My house is clean. Come over at 4 o'clock for tea so that you won't miss it." We did this quite often thereafter so we could ooh and ah over each other's clean homes, since husbands are unable to gush over housekeeping accomplishments. She was also a queen of frugality, and we would compare notes, and I miss her. Invite a friend or neighbor over for tea to inspire you to clean your house. Fly with the FlyLady. Fly stands for finally loving yourself by gifting yourself with a clean and tidy home. So if you need further motivation, I highly recommend reading the now classic quick and fun book by Marla Cilley, aka the FlyLady. Her book is called Sink Reflections. She will teach you how to reach your goals 15 minutes at a time, beginning with your kitchen sink. It also helps to follow the sun. Clean whatever room sunlight is pouring into. That will help your mood. Now, if you are super messy or hoarder messy, if you suffer from fatigue, depression, or ADD, Sandra Felton has been helping people go from being messies to cleanies for decades. Her 2 most popular books have now been combined into one: How Not to Be a Messy, the ultimate guide for the neatness challenged, The Messy's Manual, and The Messy Motivator. Simplify Your Life. Simplify Your Life, Get Organized, and Stay That Way by Marsha Ramsland is another book I really liked. Of course, I didn't find this book until after I had figured out everything she outlines in the book. But if I had found it in 2003 when it was written, I would have saved myself a lot of time simplifying my life, my systems, my laundry, my house, etc. May God bless you as you show your children how to clean their rooms. Teach them to have fun and reward yourselves by having friends over. Yes, unfortunately, some episodes of Bewitched were really quite terrible. When I rewatched it, I just skipped over them. But I do love the fact that Samantha wanted to be an excellent wife and homemaker, and I loved the interactions between her, Darren, Tabitha, and baby Adam. In this show, Samantha had her vision set on home and motherhood. This truth is what people find so appealing about that show. They like the everyday hominess of it. Not just the architecture of the house, but the feeling of home, her loving marriage, and how she cared for her children. The other character actors added some levity in some episodes. The episodes that were disliked, not just by me, but by the general population, were the ones where the show lost their vision of home life. Then it just went downhill, just like in real life, when people lose their vision of home. I also liked that the show was very pro-life. When Elizabeth Montgomery was pregnant with her second child, she said she was not going to hide that fact, and therefore they had to write Adam into the show. And when Louise Tate found out that she was pregnant. Both Darren, who thought that Samantha was pregnant, and Larry, Louise Tate's husband, acted and reacted as all decent men do, with love, enthusiasm, and excitement. And that was really refreshing to see such a wonderful response to fatherhood on a TV show. They had a little boy named Jonathan on the show, and he was named after David White's real son. Another character I really liked was Aunt Clara. And did you know that she really did have a doorknob collection in real life? And she brought her most unique ones onto the show? It's not a series today that I can really recommend, but for many people the show does have good memories, especially Abner! Take your medicine, Gladys. Of course, there were 2 Gladyses on the show because the first one, the First Lady, died of cancer. Her always checking on the neighbors brought a new word into fashion, Kravitzing. I still hear people use that today. And as a child, I also really liked Maurice Herbert Evans, who played Samantha's dad, Tabitha's grandpa. He was a renowned Shakespearean actor. He was one of my favorites. I also really loved the way Samantha dressed, especially in the earlier seasons of the show, and that heart necklace that she always wore, which was a necklace her husband had given to her. Even though Bewitched was very silly, I was focused on Samantha and her homemaking and her house and how she treated her child and how she really loved and respected her husband. And that is what brings up good memories for me today. The Bewitched House is actually America's favorite TV home I've seen on polls. Oh, and I can't forget Agnes Moorehead, who played Endora. They had to talk her into being on the show because she said it was too silly. She was a very well-known actress, but as a child I loved her colorful clothing and makeup. She was a strong Christian, and she wasn't too happy knowing that she was going to best be remembered as playing Endora, a witch with a bad attitude. TV shows can be good examples or very bad examples, but they are all counterfeit homes, and we need to be focusing on our own home life. It's wonderful that we have YouTube to listen to things that can encourage us in our home life, and I hope that you have fun cleaning up and decluttering your home with cleaning games, and teach your children how to have fun doing chores as well.